A second stimulus check deal is imminent. And what will we find out about hazard pay? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons with LALATE. Hope you're great and safe. Really exciting news overnight as the second stimulus package deal is imminent, and everyone's waiting to hear the fate of hazard pay. This is Afternoons on LALATE. Every day at 3:30, we start with a check, then we go to hazard pay, next FPUC, and finally rent assistance. You know, hazard pay has been that forgotten child in the second stimulus check debate. It has not been covered by broadcast news. It has not been covered by other people. It's literally not been covered by anyone. And ultimately what has happened is a lot of people have gotten pissed, to say the word, that no one is asking about hazard pay. I've stated with it on topic every single day for weeks. You are here and I'm here. And within 48 hours, we will find out the fate of hazard pay. Yes, let me get right to the breaking news. The breaking news is that hazard pay on a federal level is needed ever more than ever before. States are not paying enough hazard pay. Cities are not paying enough hazard pay. And businesses are paying either a ridiculous small sum of hazard pay or nothing at all. The issue about frontline workers is becoming more apparent right now for several reasons, and this is very critical as we talk about it Wednesday afternoon. The pandemic is spreading. COVID-19 cases are getting worse. The risk and hazards are even more than before. But businesses are falling by the wayside. Businesses are encountering incredible liquidity problems, unable to make rent, and are on the brink of closing their doors. So a lot of businesses are cutting corners and unfortunately risking your lives to make a buck. And so the question is, how long will frontline workers work for an employer who doesn't value their services in the face of a spreading pandemic? Well, there's great news. The Democrat plan, which is called the HEROES Act, looks like it's about to become law on Friday. Steve Mnuchin overnight said that he and Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, have agreed that they will have a second stimulus package agreement on Friday. They will announce it to news no later than Friday, and then it will be introduced back into the Senate in a revised version of the HEROES Act. They will vote on it, and they will get it done, and then the president will sign it into law. So you basically see, 1 to 2 days in the Senate, Monday and Tuesday, and then the president signing it either Tuesday or Wednesday. That's the great news. But Friday, from here to Friday, is what some viewers in the comments have said, a nail biter. What's going to happen with hazard pay? By all indications, Nancy Pelosi has said she's not going to back down. She's not going to not do hazard pay. And the Democratic senators who are in the Senate who are voting on the bill apparently don't want to sign for it unless it has hazard pay. But I have to tell you both the good news and the bad news. The great news is that there's nothing but positive support for hazard pay. The bad news is there's a lot of silence. We don't know what everyone else is thinking. The Republicans have never spoken against hazard pay, but they've never spoken in favor of hazard pay either. What caused a lot of concern for viewers of this channel for hazard pay was Mitch McConnell's insurance liability provision that said, hey, I'm not going to protect you employees for hazard pay, but I am going to protect the employers. That bill seems to suggest it's falling by the wayside. If it's not falling by the wayside, then a concession may have been given to McConnell to include that, but that doesn't mean that hazard pay won't be included as well. The indications are that both sides are making concessions. In fact, it's not actually indications, they're saying that. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mark Meadows, and Steve Mnuchin all say that they're making concessions on what's in the bill. And so ultimately we have to hope that the concession did not involve tossing hazard pay to the side. Hazard pay is not live. Viewers are asking me, how do I go get that hazard pay today? It's not live. It hasn't become law. And then once it becomes law, you don't apply for it. Your employer applies for it. And the employer has to exist. The employer can't be financially belly up, can't be shutting their doors because there'll be no one to apply for it. Ultimately, what I was starting to warn you yesterday about, it's not warning, but it's just giving you a heads up, that I fully feel in my gut as I sit here today on a Wednesday afternoon, that hazard pay is going to sort of become the next Javita Carranza SBA EIDL gorilla in the room. That it's going to be one of those things that if it's passed, everyone's going to be, oh, how do I apply? And my employer didn't apply, and my employer didn't know how to apply, and my employer didn't do the right numbers, and how do I urge my employer to do it? And then the employer did apply, but I didn't see the check, and the money didn't come, and I just sense it's going to be all of EIDL all over again. If you don't know what I'm referring to, this channel came into fruition in April. I mean, we're at day 100 of this channel, and we're helping people get a loan process through the CARES Act, the first stimulus package, and there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of things that had to be fixed. I stayed with viewers. I'm still staying with them. I got a text message just a few minutes, a DM just a few minutes ago. Someone from March 30th, one of my original 100 viewers, just got his loan approved today because of my help. So you understand the process through that. I sense hazard pay could be at that next environment. It's not going to be as simple as the bill becomes law on Tuesday and you're going to check on Wednesday for $10,000. I got to explain to you that unlike the stimulus check that Steve Mnuchin is representing will land in your bank account 7 days electronically if you're set up for electronic delivery, after the bill becomes law, hazard pay could just be this monolith that just goes on for days, weeks, months. There could be big fights between unions and businesses that don't apply for it. There could be big fights between employees and business owners that don't apply for it. And then there's this. The question is, what is the sentiment? A new report out today from Mentioned in Eater, which is a very popular food website out on the West Coast, cites another report that claims that DoorDash is offering hazard pay to its employees. It sounds so great until you hear the bit. 78 cents a day. Yeah, I said 78 cents a day, not $78 a day, not $78,000 a day. 78 cents a day. And that's not 78. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, they meant 78 cents a ride or delivery. No, 78 cents an entire day. According to the email from DoorDash obtained by a local report, it says that in response to San Francisco's April 21st emergency ordinance requiring on-demand delivery services to, quote, provide or reimburse employees for the reasonable cost of purchasing necessary hand sanitizer, DoorDash gave some money. So here's the first thing. It's allegedly in response to a San Francisco ordinance that required DoorDash to pay money. So it's not like they wanted to do it on their own accord. Apparently, this is for San Francisco drivers. Apparently, there was an ordinance passed on April 21 which ordered delivery services to provide hazard pay. So DoorDash allegedly, in response to that ordinance requiring to pay hazard pay, did pay hazard pay. How big is DoorDash, as the report indicates? Well, as of June, it had a valuation of $16 billion. That's a B with a billion, not an M like a million. And it had an estimated executive salary of $100 an hour. For each day you complete at least one delivery in California, San Francisco starting point, you'll receive a grand total of 78 cents daily deposit on your top of your regular earnings. Congratulations. Really, DoorDash? Those 78 cents could cover your additional deposits and for wiping down frequently touched surfaces in the vehicles. Oh, so you're getting 78 cents to wipe down your car. Don't insult me, DoorDash. Now, DoorDash has not responded to the allegations, so we don't have their side of the story. But it basically shows the core of the concern as we go into the approval of the second stimulus package, that first we have this nail biter that hazard pay gets approved. Second, if the hazard pay gets approved, then we're going to have the entire sentiment of companies that just don't want to do anything. And these are big companies. These are small companies. I talked about at the beginning of the video that there's smaller companies that may be belly up and may not apply for you. How about companies that are worth $16 billion? Do you think they'll apply for your hazard pay? And what happens if they won't? Will there be a massive movement and protests and picketing if they don't apply for your hazard pay? Hazard pay is a lot of money. It's $10,000, up to $10,000 or up to $5,000. How does it work? The employer applies for you. Under the Democratic bill, there's a lot of stuff in there that I just don't like. You see me rolling my eyes because I don't like it. First provision is the employer shall apply, but doesn't have to apply. What? Yes, the employer does not have to apply for hazard pay. It's up to their choice if they want to. Now, ultimately, what I've told you to do, which is sort of like hit them where it hurts, LALATE sort of approach. I said, talk to your fellow workers, get them all together, and say, watch this kid with the brown shirt that looks sort of like purple today. Watch his videos on hazard pay. I think we qualify for hazard pay. Then, if they all agree that they qualify for hazard pay, what are they all going to do when that employer does not apply for hazard pay for them? There's nothing worse than having an employer who has frontline workers that expects them to show up to work and they don't show up to work because they didn't apply for their hazard pay. I think that's where this may turn, but we don't know. Hazard pay is $13 an hour based upon your January earnings all the way up to the present, going to the future. If you pass $10,000 under that calculation, which includes overtime, part-time, full-time work, you would get $10,000 lump sum right in your account. And there's a qualifier to it. You can't make more than $100,000 last year. If you made more than $100,000 last year, you get $5,000. There are questions I keep on getting like, how about I worked multiple hazard pay essential worker jobs? Yes. What if I got laid off from one? Doesn't matter. What if I got fired from another? Doesn't matter. They all still got to pay you. Then I have viewers asking me, well, my boss said I'm not essential. Who cares what he says or she says? The essential nature of your services is defined for eligibility purposes in the bill. It's the wind is like it's like a hurricane here. The bill says who's essential, so we're not guessing here. The bill ultimately defines who are the essential workers, and people have been asking me, am I essential? Am I essential? And sometimes I have to deliver the bad news. No, you're not essential. So people have been asking like things that I would have put in there. I worked at a refinery. Am I essential? No, it actually doesn't have anything about gas and oil in there, which you think would be so obvious. And you would think if you worked for a utility company, it would be in there, but it was not. When I read it, I didn't see it. Maybe I missed it, but I read it several times. I did not see it in there. So ultimately, when we sit back and hear what happens on Friday, according to Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi, we'll find out if hazard pay is in there. If it's not, then it's not. But if it is, then we have to give a deep breath and a sigh, because then we have to say, okay, all right, now what's going to go on with my employer? Are they going to apply for it? Are they not? Finally, a personal message. I've seen the tweets. I've seen the IG remarks. I've seen the comments on the channel. I really am grateful for the kind messages you have sent that basically say about the same thing, that I'm the only one out there that's really hitting hazard pay very hard every single day. This channel is at day one. No, it's day 95. We launched on April 25th with this platform. To that one hate, I got a spot. There was one hater that said, he's been around for 10 years or something. Okay. You want to go back in the analytics on April 25th and see how many viewers we had? We had 100 subscribers, so don't give me that hating. Get over to the left or to the right or wherever you belong. To the left with the box and Beyonce's lyrics. It's like, we had 100 viewers on April 25th. We have 142,000 today, so don't tell me we've been around for 3 years with 142,000 subscribers. And so I understand that people are pissed, and I am too, that Broadcast News has not asked Mnuchin, not asked Nancy, not asked Chuck what's going on with hazard pay. And ultimately, it impacts my ability to report the news to you because I'm not there, and I don't have the ability to ask those 4 people what happened to hazard pay. I also don't have the ability to ask congressional leaders, what do you think about hazard pay? And so every single day passes, and you'll see, like, I'm really upset that Broadcast News has really not stayed on top of the story, and it makes me try to keep my energy level up because ultimately you're valuable. You are a frontline worker. You are nurses and grocery store workers and drivers and shippers and truckers. You're the heart of this country. And as we sit here and we're about to talk about a stimulus package, we're talking about restaurants, we're talking about federal buildings and, liability insurance and a lot of fluffery. I'm like, how about the frontline workers? So your heart has been with me. Ultimately, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, so I ask you to like and subscribe to this channel. Go to the front of this channel where there's a subscribe button. Hit the alert. This is going to be a hot mess express, and it's not going to be a smooth arrival into the station, especially of hazard pay. I can just sense it. It's not like the stimulus check, which is a little bit smoother at this point. Hazard pay is going to be a hot mess express all the way until we arrive at the station. And so, with that, stay motivated, stay positive, stay focused, stay smiling. Keep up those tweets. I love them. And stay of LA for more.